The All-American Half Pounder. 2 pure beef patties, lettuce, tomato.
Hi, this is Alexis Steele with Steel Notes Magazine. We're here once again with Marky Ramone from the
Hi.
Ramones.
Hello.
Last off, we spoke to Marky back on October 24th at Chiller Theater in Parsippany, New Jersey. And we're here again, actually with his book signing. This is a book right here, Punk Rock Blitzkrieg. Okay, he's got a very successful touring all around, basically, doing his book signings, right?
Yeah, #1 in Amazon and the musical autobiographies for 2 weeks already. It's been
Awesome.
out for a little bit more than 2 weeks, so I'm very, very proud.
Yeah, and should
very,
be.
happy that people like it. Took
Yeah.
5 years in the making.
There you go.
So it's a lot of big chunk out of your life.
Absolutely. Well, and also, last when we spoke, you were getting ready for your Gramercy show.
Yeah,
at
yeah.
Gramercy Theater.
Yeah, it was great. It was fun.
Okay, and I heard that was pretty much like packed capacity.
Yeah, it was too much. They, sometimes a venue will pack more people in and hope that they don't get caught. So, yeah, it was oversold, but I was very happy for that. But you got to think of the audience too. Their comfort. They got to be comfortable too. So yeah, that was a good one.
Okay, awesome.
A lot of fun in that.
Okay, great. Now, what is your favorite memory of playing with the Ramones?
Oh well, being asked to join the Ramones. After Tommy for 3.5 years in the group, he wanted to produce. So he didn't want to drum anymore. So he advised the other Ramones to get me in the group, and Dee Dee was my close friend already. So the next thing I knew, I was at the bar at CB's with Dee Dee, and he popped the question. And the next thing I knew, I was in the band. And we did 3 songs out of rehearsal. And then they gave me their demo of Road to Ruin, which was the first album I was on. And then a 25-song set list to record in 2 weeks, to learn in 2 weeks. So I had to do that, and I had to learn 40 songs in that space of time because they had commitments to start playing.
Okay.
So yeah, it was that simple. Richard Hell and the Ramones were label mates for Sire Records, so we all knew each other, and I didn't want to play with Richard anymore because he didn't want to tour. I did, so, it's funny how life is. It's like an adventure,
Absolutely, absolutely. So if you were to pick one venue that you like to play, which one would you say were your favorite?
Yeah, that's a good one. I guess I liked the US Festival that we played in because it was 150,000 people, but I like also the smaller venues,
Sure.
I liked the Ritz was great in New York City. I liked the Palladium in LA. Let's see, what else? To name a few. I mean, there's great venues in Japan, The Fillmore West was really cool to play, So, there's just so many places.
Okay. Do you have a favorite song that you like to perform?
I would say Rock and Roll High School because of the movie.
Sure.
And the soundtrack and my one-liner in the movie, you go there for 6 weeks, you make a movie, you wait all day for your part to come up. And my one part was, gee, I think they liked us. No, that's The Simpsons. No, the Rockville High School one was to the music teacher. That was a good one, Mr. McGree. That was my whole line. And I was disappointed I didn't win the Oscar, but anyway, just kidding. But it is Rockville High School because of the soundtrack and the movie and other things. So,
okay, very good.
Plus it's always on TV, and then you see yourself on the screen and you go, oh my God, So, it's a lot of reasons why I like that song.
Okay. So which one do you think that is best liked by the fans?
I would say Sedated, Blitzkrieg Bop, Sheena, Rockaway Beach, KKK, Pinhead, it's Pet Sematary from Stephen King's soundtrack. There's so many, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I have 400 high 8 tapes of the Ramones around the world. So a lot of times I'll take a tape out, watch it, and see how the reaction is of the audience, and then I will compile a set list of those songs. You know, the ones that you know they like, and I compare each DVD cassette to the other. You know.
Exactly.
So you know.
Exactly. So then, where did you draw the subject material for your biggest hits?
Well, an album comes out, and then you obviously have to push that album. You know, it's your product that's out there. So we would play each album, and I guess when Tommy was in the group, they would do their first 3 albums, the best songs that were on those albums. But you got to include those songs from those 3 albums with the ones that I did, because they were great songs. So, Road to Ruin, I Want to Be Sedated, obviously. Rocket to Russia, 3rd album, Sheena is a Punk Rocker, Rockaway Beach. 1st album, Blitzkrieg Bop, I Want to Be Your Boyfriend, Havana Affair. 2nd album, Commando. So there's different reasons why you play the songs. You know? So it depends on when the album came out.
Okay.
You know? So you would insert it in the set list.
Okay. Okay, so if you had to go back and do some things over, what would be the first on your list to do? Or would there be anything?
Drink tea instead of coffee. What would I do? Let's see, what would I do over? I guess, well, I went to high school, but I didn't go the 10 months during the year. I went to high school 3 years. But in order to pass, I had to go to summer school and night school. So out of those 3 years, I passed high school in 6 months. But I got a general diploma. I was very good in English and very good in music. But I guess maybe I should have stayed the whole course. But I don't know if it would have helped me for what I do now. You know what I mean? I don't think it had, had any reason to continue. You know?
Right, exactly.
But technically, I did graduate. So I did it really to make my parents happy, to have the piece of paper on the wall, you know, the whole thing.
Absolutely.
So,
okay.
you know.
So how does it feel to still be on the road at 62?
Love it.
Blitzkrieg?
Love it.
Okay. And that passion, you have that passion still burning?
I keep banging things. I enjoy playing, and keeps you fit. You meet new friends. You meet old friends. I was in China, Vietnam, Dubai, and Russia. And in a million years, Ramones, in their wildest dreams, would have never thought that I would have went there or they would go there, because it was different times in 96, 95, when we retired in 96. But they love our Western culture. Mm-hmm. They love our culture a lot. They don't necessarily agree with our politics, but they love our culture. So China is unbelievable. That's why I keep touring. You know, and I love Andrew WK. I like to see the whole new generation of young adults. I don't like to call them teenagers, who now see a Ramone playing these songs, and they weren't even around when the band stopped. So they come with their parents. It bridges the generation gap, you know, so it's pretty cool.
Right, absolutely. So back in the band's heyday, I guess there was a lot of friction in the band.
Oh, yeah.
What irked you the most about that?
What irked me was the fact that I could never get Johnny and Joey together to be real, authentic friends. I tried, and I tried, and I tried. And when I joined the band, I didn't know this was going on, but it was. It's like a family. Your brothers, your bandmates. You're in a van. For 15 years, I did 1,700 shows with the Ramones, and you get to know the individuals in depth. So I observed them very well. We all had our assigned seats, but the animosities that grew between Joey and Johnny kept festering and festering and festering. So, you know, again, people are people. Some people get along, some people don't. So at the end, when I got back in the band a second time, after I beat my drinking problem, they still weren't talking. And nothing changed except me. You know, I just wasn't drinking beer anymore. So I stayed out of it, because, you know, you can't tell people what to do. They're going to want to have to do it, you know. And I don't know how deep the animosities ran, because they knew each other before they were in the band. And I didn't grow up with them. I'm from Brooklyn. They're from Forest Hills, Queens. So I just left it alone, and you know, I just wish that when Joey passed away, that John and Dee Dee and Tommy came to the funeral, which they didn't. Not the funeral, the hospital, to say goodbye to him. I brought him cookies. I brought him a CD of Dusty Springfield's greatest hits, and a little boombox with headphones, so you could hear it, you know, at night and the day, not to bother other people. He didn't have his own hospital room. But that's how deep it ran, you know. And a lot of the reasons Tommy left the group is because of bullying, and I despise bullying of any sort. So yeah, his excuse was, I want to produce, but he's kind of getting bullied, you know.
Yeah, sure.
So you know, he confessed that to me. You know, it's known, you know.
Okay.
But he was a little guy, great guy, and I'll miss him.
Sure.
You know.
Do you have any plans to play with CJ again?
No.
No?
Different eras. CJ came in the band in '89. I was in the group in '78, so we don't really have the same,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Musical upbringings and, you know, all that stuff. I wish him luck, but, you know, I really don't, I don't communicate with any of the other Ramones.
Okay. When you listen to today's music, do you feel like any of the bands are still carrying on the traditions that the Ramones did?
Well, they try. I mean, to do that, to, you know, to say that, you know, there'll be another Ramones or carrying on traditions, there'll never be another Ramones, without
Absolutely.
a doubt. But there are bands that are influenced by us that put their own icing on the cake. Green Day, there's Offspring, there's Rancid, there's so many punk bands, Joan Jett. Even Pearl Jam does some of our songs. You have Lemmy, who wrote Ramones. He did it, and then we did it. And it just goes all over the world. You could just tell by the sound, the downstrokes, and that wall of sound, you know, stripped down intensity. So, is there another band keeping on the tradition? No, but keeping on the influence. You know, the little nuances of the Ramones after they put their own style to it.
Absolutely. Now, getting back to your book.
Thank you.
How much fun was it, and how long did it take for you to actually put together all the information?
Well, it took 5 years. My memory serves me very well, and when I just joined the band and in Richard Hell's band, I had composition notebooks. Those are the flecked those notebooks you used to take to school with you. And you know, you put your name on the front, address in case it got lost. But and also I have the largest Ramones video library in the world. And if my memory didn't serve me correctly, I would go back to all that. But the incidences of the Ramones was so memorable that you just can't forget. So everything in this book is the honest truth. My father told me, before he passed away, he said, if you're going to write about the other personalities in the band, you better be twice as upfront about yourself, your personality. So I mentioned the whole stint in the rehabs and what I went through and the detoxes, and I didn't have to put that in there because there is a certain anonymity that you should have, but I don't care if it can help somebody, a young adult, get off the alcohol or drugs, fine, you know. So that's why I put that in there.
Okay, so the book is basically a no-holds-barred tale of your life and what you've been through.
Oh yeah, even before the Ramones, with Richard Hell, Wayne County, auditioning for the Dolls, my first band, Dust. We were one of the first heavy metal bands in America. And what it was like going through school, and it was a lot different back then. And you know, just growing up in Brooklyn, things that I encountered and situations, and then after the Ramones with the Hall of Fame and staying friends with Phil Spector, and you know, getting the Grammy Award, and you know what happened backstage. and to a point at what I'm doing now, but you know, not as in depth as the Ramones chapters and all other stuff. But who knows? There might be a part 2. You know, but all the good juicy stuff's in this book.
All the good juicy. Do you want to share any juicy tidbit?
Well, I wanted to quell a rumor about Phil Spector that he never pointed a gun at us in the studio. That was all hearsay. He had guns on him, but he never pointed them at us. That's different. He had a license to carry, and Phil put them down at the side in the console. He's 5'5", small framed guy, and I guess it can be intimidating. I wasn't intimidated, either was Joey, but Dee Dee and Johnny didn't like it, you know. So they had verbal sparring, and John thought that Phil was going to pull a gun out at him. He didn't. He said, "Phil, what are you going to shoot me?" This was in a video, in a compilation. But Phil wasn't there. There was no gun being pointed. It was just what John said or thought Phil could do or would do to him if there was ever, you know, a really heated argument over something. So I just wanted to stop that rumor, you know.
Okay. All right. Now your spaghetti sauce. We talked about that when I was at Chiller.
Yeah.
Now, is that available in grocery stores?
It's on MarkyRamone.com. It's in specialty stores. And now I have a beer coming out.
Great.
And I don't drink. So the sauce is specialty. I wanted specialty stores and the smaller bodegas. But what I liked about that was that part of the proceeds goes to Autism Speaks. And the beer is an import. I had it made in Spain. So our guy that tastes wine, he'll put it in his mouth, swish it around, spit it out. I did that a few times until they got it just right. So it will be made here because to import that, it's expensive. So I wanted more of a drinking beer, not a dark ale, which a lot of Europeans do like. So it will be out in about a month to 6 weeks in America on a large distribution. And part of that proceeds goes to Musicians Without Borders to help, you know, whatever we can do for them.
Right.
You know?
Sure. Absolutely.
You know, the money might go to a lesson, maybe to buy a school an instrument that's needed, or, you know, because a lot of schools don't have the money to get these things. So, you know, I'm sure there's other people besides me that like this charity. So if it all adds up and it helps the students, good, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Marky, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out.
Good seeing you again. Good seeing you again. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.